So just line up straight across, just so we can see what your actual stance is. Yeah, facing this way. I hope you're all ready. You're all ready. Okay. So just go ahead and get in the stance, your regular stance, when you're getting ready to approach the swing. Okay. Now, everything is pretty much consistent, right? Everybody's in the batter's box with a fairly athletic stance, on their toes. The weights are on their toes. A lot of the weights on their back foot, right? So they want to keep that weight back there and want to set up. How they set up typically? A lot of girls like Lexus. I prefer this where your elbow is midline, like right through the middle. Kimmy and Jess have it more towards their front hip. Also fine, what you don't want to have is you're way back here. You don't want to have them like way over here, right? Everything needs to be right here in an athletic stance. You guys, you don't have to be managed on that. So, but there's also an approach to your at bat. Every time you go up to the plate, what are you thinking?
Hit the ball.
You want to swing. You want to swing. Don't strike out. But hey, number one is you want to swing. Yes attitude, right? You want to be yes attitude. You want to swing. Yes, I want to swing. We run into this in minors all the time. The girls are just going to sit there and wait for the coach to come out and pitch. We don't want to see that. T-ball is not as important, in terms of getting ready to hit. We are going to use the tee almost exclusively all this time for the drill, for the tee, for the hitting part of it. So what I do is when I set this up, is I take every ball that I'll use in this clinic will have a dot on it. Every single one will face the dot here, back towards the hitter, and they'll approach their batting stance. So they're going to go ahead, Kim, go ahead, or anybody else. Jess, get it. Like you're hitting that way.
Yeah.
Yep. So what we'll first start off is they'll come down, they'll line up the bat to try to touch the dot, just kiss the dot, and then bring it back, and then take a full swing. Always, Ian won't be too happy about that. So they'll just get in, line it up, bring it back, and swing. It just keeps them moving to it at the same time instead of being a statue. They don't want to be a statue in the batter's box. That's the last thing you want. Another drill that we're going to end up doing is we're going to have a 2T drill. So there's going to be another tee literally directly behind here. I should have brought them both in. They're in my truck. And it's going to be the same height. And the whole point of that is to get the bat into the zone as quickly as possible, but not like sway. Now you don't want to come down and then all the way through and swinging up. Right? We want to have a level swing. So just take a dry swing off the top of the tee. So I don't care if you hit it. So we'll have them set up just like Jess is here. And some sort of audio signal, and then I'll take a swing. So as Jess's bat ends up in the zone way back here. Okay, and then she swings all the way through and hits that ball all the way through. Okay. Most important thing is when you get in the batter's box, if you wait on your back foot, without a whole lot of effort, they should be able to lift up their front foot, right?
After you load?
No, I'm saying after, once you load, like you're getting ready for the pitch, right? You should be able to lift that foot up just a little bit without much sway. And what you really don't want to see girls doing this, right? So but they want to keep weight here, and when they transfer, they're still kind of in the same spot. So go ahead. So I'm just going to put my hand right where her back hip is. Go ahead. Yeah, take a swing. So she moved maybe 6 to 10 inches tops, like from back. That eliminates the whole sway of girls trying to hit the ball when it's way out here. You see a lot of girls who take a huge step forward and try to hit it when it's way out here. You want to hit it right between your hips, a nice compact, get it in the zone, and swing through. There's a couple other swings drills that we do. If the girls are having a hard time moving forward, if girls are having a hard time, they're really stationary. So if girls look like this and they swing like this, I actually have them start back one step just so they can figure out how to move forward. So now the front foot's where the back foot would be. They're going to move this up forward and then step and swing. Okay, gets girls moving forward and it teaches them to keep that foot still. They're here and bang all the way through. Okay? So that just promotes everybody to move forward.
How much of the swing mechanics are we going to get as far as? Unfortunately, I saw a lot of coaches, myself included, when I first started coaching many years ago. I taught how I was taught, which was elbow back and all this stuff that's just completely wrong now, right? Back to a compact swing now that
I will look at everyone's stance, and people who are working with me, Jeff will probably with me a lot of times. We're going to look at your stance from the get-go, which is why I had them set up. All three of them set up almost exactly the same. Bats are in a little similar positions, maybe a little bit different. That's fine, but I will correct the stance every time they go to swing. Okay, that's really the more important thing. Correct the stance. If they're sitting here like this with the bat on the shoulder, nope, hands up. Yeah, how quick, before they take any swings, that's where they're gonna be, like, every single time. And they're gonna step and swing, okay? We'll make sure that we'll focus on the stance, focus on that athletic position. Yes, we wanna swing, and getting that bat into the goal as quick as possible.
Really, when it comes to swing mechanics, like Tom was talking about, every girl is going to be slightly different in how they get into the box and how they swing. The key is once they get to toe touch, what they look like. So every swing, when they get in the box, like Tom talked about, is, you know, just might look different than other girls. Sorry, I was such a big name here. Praying this is not working, but just would be different than Kimmy, that might be different than Lexus. But when they all get the toe touch, if you guys want to go from your stance to toe touch, you'll see they'll look, they should look pretty much the same, right? So if you go from just do low and then do toe touch. Okay? So pretty much their stances are the same. The butt is of the bat is going to be, you know, slightly downward, should be pointing to the catcher, Kitty, right? That's where it should be, right? It should be pointed towards the catcher, right? There you go. So that's how it should look, right? Just like that. They're not on their balls. I mean, they are on the balls of their feet. Their heels aren't down, right? That's where you want to get to. That's where you should be consistent. Is right there at toe touch, like Todd was talking about. How they get into the box. What Todd is talking about is making sure that they get in there and they're in a ready position, right, in the box. They're not sitting there with a bat on their shoulder. They're not looking at the fly go by their face, you know, that kind of stuff. They should be ready. They should be activated. They should be ready to go. And once they get to toe touch, they should all look kind of exactly the same.
Okay, that involves, you know, the distance from the plate, you know, the compact of the swing. Because one of the things I see is also, you know, the full extension of the swing coming through. That's it's great from a centrifugal force perspective, but not.
Yeah, we'll talk about down and through. So you hear it down and then through. You swing high. You're gonna end up high, so you're not like swinging way out like this. You know, so the tiny back. So 26 inches. So, I mean, I can show you swing. I don't know. That doesn't matter to me. So once you hear, like you were saying, as soon as you get down, you want to be down in the zone as early as possible. So when she's here, just was similar, same things here, and then snap through, right? The wrist snap is also super important, clearly. But we really also want to make sure that they're finishing high. You want to see the ball goes and finish like this. You want to make sure when he doesn't swing, the bat's up here.
At the high school, we call it like the Nike swish. So you want to like have it come down and then finish high.
When do you do it? So Tom was talking about the wrist snap. When do you want to do that wrist snap? What part of the swing?
After
Contact.
After contact. You don't want to be rolling the bat as you're making contact. You want to make sure you make contact, and then as you're going at the top part of the leg, you switch. Then you're actually breaking the wrist.
That's why like knocking knuckles, we say like line up your knocking knuckles, because if you palm the bat, like you don't really have that like leeway, but if you have your knocking knuckles lined, it like gives you that flexibility.
Also, one other important thing, at contact, the girl's arms should be fully extended. So when I go to contact, my arms are still for the most part bent, and then you push through. But I know some girls will like get there and like this is their contact, but that just takes away all of your power because most of your power comes from staying on the ball longer. So if I'm here, I can better push through the ball rather than just like tackling.
So a little bit different than baseball swing. So if we used to teach you baseball, that's why it's a little bit different. But another thing we'll do also is we'll swing one-handed. We use top hand and bottom hand. You use the same tee. You do the same thing. You keep your hand in here, line it up, and then snap through. Same thing with the left hand or right hand. You're going to snap through. Same thing. Okay. Use a smaller bat with that. This is a T-ball bat. 7-year-old uses it. 10-year-old girls can use something like this for one-handed. I actually have one of those little wood bats, those little toy wood bats that I use for the little kids. They can use that too.
And this thing, all these drills we're talking about here, there is no age, right? It's whenever they can hold a bat in their hands, get a bat in their hands. Whenever they can step in the box, get in a box. This is not an age-appropriate swing. Like, you know, what we teach here, I've been teaching, again, like I said, for a lot of years. It's not something that you have to worry about that my 5-year-old can't do it. She can do it. Just give her the right size bat. Right? You know, that's all it is. You don't want to give her you don't want to give her a Lexus's bat and expect her to do it because she can't do it. But if you give her Todd's bat, I guarantee you, you know.
I've been hitting for obviously a long time. I absolutely love hitting, but I clearly changed my entire swing like since high school season. One thing that I learned when I was little, squish the bug, don't do that. Please don't squish the bug. It is not good at all. It just causes your hips to already rotate and you lose all that power. So like at the high school, we just learned like after your toe touch and you bring that down, this one like pinches. So we call it like the pinch. It's really uncomfortable, but after you get here, it allows all of your weight to transfer forward. So
I mean, the squish the bug language was a really, a great idea for a long time because it was trying to teach the girls how to get their hips into there and get activated into the zone. The problem that happened was, over time, the squish the bug became, oh, I'm just going to turn my hip, and that's all it was. And it's not really doing what it was intended to do, right? What Justice described is what the intention was to get your hips into your swing and to get your hips trailing behind your arms, right? So you rotate through your swing at the right time. What girls were doing, and even boys for that matter, they would just do this, and there was really nothing else happening, right? So that's why we try and eliminate that language. The concept is still there, that you want to get their hips into the swing, you just don't want to say spin your foot, right? Because then they're really just spinning their foot, and they're not actually doing the drill the way it's supposed to be done.
And also, when you spin your foot, that usually causes your hips to open, which leaves the whole outside part of the plate. Like you can't touch it; you're already through. So making sure to stay close, not like squish the bug. Make sure you can get the whole zone from like the very inside pitch to the very outside pitch.
Todd, can you just demonstrate where you want the girls to set up on the tee? Because I know that should be an issue.
I mean, this is what I do. It's not necessarily could be the right way or the wrong way. How I have them set their front foot up, their front foot is usually at the back angle right here. Okay, so that even with the ball, essentially right now, when they go to set up, I'm not sure. I mean,
Yeah, so what we do at the high school is we actually put a plate behind the tee.
Yep.
So like, with these kind of tees, it looks like that's the plate, right? You see the plate, you see the tee right in the middle of the plate. Girls nobody should hit the ball right in the middle of the plate, right? They should hit the ball in front of the plate. So we actually, and Coach JB and I are really tight on this, they never hit off a tee unless there's a plate right on the ground. So they never ever do that. So you can move the tee around like Todd talked about. You can move the tee to simulate a late swing, like the ball has got into them. You can move the tee this way, you can move the tee that way, you can move the tee here, like you can do whatever you want, but they always line up on the plate, right? Not this plate, but the plate that actually be back there.
and I do have home plates that we're gonna bring, that I will be moving the tee around on top of the home plate to teach them the inside and outside swings and stuff like that. So it will sit on a home plate. It's just didn't, I only had so many hands. So other than that, I don't know, anything else you wanted to add or inside, outside swings?
Go, Kimmy, go,
Alright.
Kimmy. You died
So,
in there.
a thing like to prevent, like, you know how like girls go like this, like just like, the thing is like we do at the high school is that we call it the chicken wing. It's to keep our like arms back and like inside so it makes the ball in contact better. It's like a chicken wing because like you put one wing and then you like go turn it.
Turn facing that
Yeah.
way so they can see.
So face it.
Oh, it's like
Watch out.
these.
she's not.
It's Kimmy swings.
It's like you move this arm, then this arm moves back. It's like a chicken wing, like that. So it allows the ball, like the bat, to move forward instead of going all the way out.
Hand travel.
Oh. And hand travel, it's like you would always go like towards instead of like over here or over here. It's just through it and like you extend it towards the pitcher and let it go.
What Kimmy's trying to describe is like keep your hands inside the ball. So if this is the ball on the tee here, we talked about the chicken wing like she was just talking about. You want to make sure your hands stay in here as long as possible until you get to contact and not go knob to ball, right? A lot of people did that. I did that for a lot of years. I taught girls to go knob to ball. You want to actually go knob to inside the ball and then let your hands get through and then extend at the end when you make contact.
And to help with that at the high school, this makes them kind of nitpicky, but we set our balls up on the tee a certain way. So the way
Railroad
that,
tracks. You ready to show railroad tracks?
yeah. So we set the ball up like this on the tee. So if this is we would set it up so that these almost look like railroad tracks. And as a hitter, our goal, so say I'm hitting this way, our goal is to hit the inside track, which will allow us to stay on the ball longer and get more power behind it. So yeah, it's just a little tidbit to like help everybody stay on the ball.
And like Jeff talked about having that dot, so that we would have that dot set up so they would actually go for that dot. So that would be.
Turn it a little bit inside so
Turn
we
it
can see
inside
it.
so you see it, right? It's just visual, trying to give them visual cues.
That's pretty much if we're hitting it, we're limited to indoors, so.
It's not you, like you were talking about language being so important. Is there gonna be any sort of like language just to start about like the general, like relaxed, ready, torque, get the ball
So,
fall
I mean,
through?
similar to what we started, how we started was, you get into the box with the yes attitude. Right? Yeah, I'm gonna swing. I'm definitely gonna swing at this at bat. I'm gonna swing at the first pitch that I like. Not the first pitch I see. Very different. First pitch I like. And then you want to be in an athletic, comfortable starting position, right? So, all the girls, like we were saying, they set up the same. So they're all in here, and they get up, and then when they load is another key word, right? They load to get on that back foot, and then it's all, I almost said it, shoot them up, they go through. I'm used to saying it, they get those hands in, and then they explode through, right? So,
So, but to your point, there is definitely language, like, so you heard Todd mention, it, so there's load, that's a key word is load, right? That's driving the weight back, make sure the girls start with the weight on the back leg. This toe touch, you heard me talk about toe touch with these girls, that's when they're actually activating their swing, getting ready to go. There's connection, right, and that's when actually the hip and the elbow are now connected, working through. There's contact, or actually bat lag, right, that's as they're dragging the bat through the hitting zone. There's contact, right, so that's when actually the contact with the ball, and there's follow through. I didn't use chicken wings, so. But those are
There's a
common-
lot of good terms.
Yeah, those are common buzzwords. It's a common language throughout all of the game, right? They use those, like, you'll hear that constantly with any kind of coach, and you guys should pick that language
That's what I was
up.
wondering, if that's going to be taught so that the girls are hearing the similar language.
Absolutely,
Absolutely.
absolutely, absolutely, yes.
And
yes.
also that's like key because I could be hitting on the other side of the room and I could hear Coach Jim be like, fix your load or fix your chicken wing, and I know exactly what he's talking about and how to fix it. So having that language be universal is like key to communication because everybody's always on the same page with the same coach.
It's just like with fielding, like when you're in a relaxed position before you get to that right position. It's
Right.
not the same.
Yeah.
It's important for them to understand when they get up there and they're like ready to go like this.
You'll hear that, and I mean, I think you probably heard it in every single one of the people that talked tonight, was everything you're in an athletic position. You're never just standing still, you're never on your heels, you're always on your toes, and you're always engaged and getting ready to fire. Right? So,
In the
never
case-
stand still.
In the case of Lexus, I'm usually saying good chicken wing or great load. And I said that in jest, but I really want you to hear that. Positive is just as much as negative, right? You want to make sure that you don't always be negative. You want to make sure that you're not always correcting. It's okay for the girls to not do it right. And let them not do it right? It's okay for that. Don't constantly be on them to say, hey, fix this, fix this, fix this, fix this. Because you guys know as well as I do, that just gets old real fast, right? So you got to fill the bucket before you empty it, right? You can't empty an empty bucket, right? So you got to make sure you fill it up. So let them do it, let them fail. It's okay, right? Take some time, let them go do something else, and then come back to it, right? Don't always be on them rapid fire, pep, 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 pep. And it's not very productive for the kids as they try and learn, right? So it's okay to let them fail.
At a younger level too, like teaching the pitching clinic for the past 2 years, like you see, like especially the really, really little girls, like they don't know how to pitch a ball, but like you like encouraging them, saying like good job, like try again, like you got it, like it actually makes them do better, like better than you being like, oh, like fix this, fix that. It's more like encouraging. So
Questions? We're almost ready to start a